Good morning, Mendham family, and welcome back to another video. Today it's going to be a little bit of a hectic day here, because obviously, believe it or not, we've already scheduled an appointment, sort of, because I am going down towards near Mackinac City to get my driver's test started, you guys, my actual driving test. So tomorrow is the big day to get it done here. I don't know if I'm going to try and include it into today's vlog or not. I'll see if maybe we can squeeze in maybe a minute of footage of a minute of footage of my driving test going on. So regardless though, I hope you guys are having a great start to your day. As for me, it's alright. The heat's starting to cool down a little bit, which is nice. I've also the first thing I had to do was check on my girl Ariel. She has not come out of shed yet. As you can see, she is probably going to start shedding her skin any day now, so any moment she's probably going to shed. She might even do it later tonight, actually, when I go to bed. So maybe I can actually do a little time lapse for you guys to just take a look at her and what she does, if you guys are okay with that. But then again, I'm not so sure. But regardless, I hope you guys are having a great start to your day, so let's see what we got today on our bucket list. You guys also might remember a few months ago when we went down to Florida, obviously one of the events we went to down there was Gatorland, and obviously we all remember that video, you guys. It was just an absolute blast of actually getting a look at the place. And obviously they did add a few new things there as such, you know, but really one thing I actually was a little excited for, I think you might have seen a brief glimpse of it in the vlog, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and just show you it because I got my photo taken before we left Gatorland of me holding a good sized animal here. I'm gonna show it to you here in a few more seconds, but I want you to guess real quick in the comments down below what you guys think it is, and let me know if you remember it in the vlog when we went to Gatorland. If not, I'll just go ahead and show it to you guys here in 3, 2, 1. That's right. I got my picture taken with a good size albino Burmese python. And I almost forgot, you guys, not just recently, I almost forgot I had this photo with me. And I guess it's just been so long, you know, since we actually came back from Florida. Well, I guess that's only been a few months. But it's obviously quite crazy because I've been working so hard at the local hospital now since we came back from Florida. And it's also getting towards warmer weather, so it's starting to feel like Florida up north already. But regardless though, just figured I wanted to show you guys that photo real quick because I never got to show it to you guys here on the vlog. So let me know in the comments if you guys really like this photo, because I'm going to be trying hanging on to this for a really long time to come. So, but anyways though, I really love it, you guys. It really means a lot to me. So just figure I wanted to show you guys that real quick to my vlog. What are you doing? Hi. Hi there. Are you saying you want food again? Is that what you want? And just after I recorded that last clip, you guys, was showing you that picture of me at Gatorland, she just all of a sudden comes out and is just like, "What's going on, Dad?" And obviously, you guys, ever since she started taking food again, she's just been such on a hunger, you guys. Like, literally, she's like a pig right now, so. But I guess, like I said, it has been almost 5 months since she last took a meal, so it's really good to finally see her back on food again. But I don't want to try and feed her too much, you guys, because obviously, you don't want an animal to be obese, right? So that's why I'm offering food to her every 10 days, you know, kind of like helping it maintain a scheduled, like, feeding, right? So regardless though, I absolutely still love this girl a lot, and hopefully she doesn't try and bite me anytime soon, and but can't jinx that, right? Okay, so today's vlog topic is about the reptile hobby, on like how it's changed within the last couple of years. And I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I try to stay away from all the media drama with the reptile hobby, but I want to also at the same time kind of like be a part of the hobby, you know, like kind of be like a part of the family, you know. But it's almost like sort of like when it comes to family there can be drama, you know, and that's why it's kind of like it's really hard to explain it here, you guys. I really never thought this through 100%, but regardless, I wanted to just go ahead and go over on what really has changed within the last year or so on the reptile hobby. So I figure we can go ahead and get started, and hopefully we can actually figure out what the future holds for this community, and hopefully soon in the future we can come together instead of just spreading apart, you know, in like the multiple sections, you know, and people just like babbling about one thing or another that's either true or false, you know. So let's go ahead and actually try and figure out to see what has changed. So let's go ahead and just say it right off the bat, you guys, that one of the few things that's changed so far in the reptile hobby is the price of the animal and the popularity of it. So let's go ahead and take an example of one of my animals. Let's go ahead with Tyson, my albino checker garter snake. You guys know, obviously, I love Tyson very, very much. He has a spot in my heart, and I've had him for about 4.5 years. And the first time I got him was back in March of 2017, and the price for albino checkered garter snakes, believe it or not, back then was quite a bit cheap, was slightly cheaper than compared to the present day here. Back then, an albino checkered garter snake was probably like around $40 or $50 a piece, that's pretty cheap, you guys. Really, that is. And comparing that to a normal checkered garter snake, that's about half the price, $25. So. And really, it was so cheap back then. But until then, a couple of years ago, that started to change. When more people started actually breeding garter snakes, some specific types, whether if it was California red-sided, wandering garter snakes, plains garter snakes, especially plains garters, they've started to become pretty popular as well. And in checker garter snakes. So obviously the price for checker garters has really evolved, especially when the new morph called the granite garters, when they were first produced not too long ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they probably started out price range maybe like $80, $90 a piece. Now these days the price has doubled to some ranging from $150 to about maybe $300 a piece for a granite garter snake. And of course there is albino granites, which are really, really expensive, and those range probably an average about $200, $250 a piece. So yeah, they're not super cheap, especially when it comes to normal albino checkered garters. I have seen them online now these days costing around $70, $80 a piece now. And that's doubled from what the original price was 3, 4 years ago. But I guess back then, you know, checker garter snakes were not as popular as compared to this day. So, and I am still looking for an albino garter, but right now, I'm looking for a female. So, regardless, I still don't have any luck with that at the moment, but I'm sure I'll find one pretty soon here, because Tyson, I want to get him a girlfriend, you guys. So, regardless, though, yeah, it has gone really crazy how much the price has changed in reptiles within the last few years, especially for when I said example for garter snakes. So, yeah, I know it's not that fun, but when it comes to popularity, some people probably just like to boost their prices up, you know, because it helps them stay in business. And I don't know, I might have to do that too someday if phone's ringing. I'll be back. Back to what I was saying here, people. So yeah, it's crazy that, yeah, the animal prices and popularity has changed with many animals within the last couple years. So, do I think it's going to change anytime soon? If it's going to go cheaper again? Probably not, you guys. I'd be kind of surprised if that did happen. So, but yeah, that's obviously probably how it's going to be here in the reptile hobby. Another thing that has caused the reptile hobby to make some big changes is cages, you guys. That's right. Like, basically, for example, a 20-gallon cage right here for my girl Ariel, my corn snake. Now, if we go back, let's say 10, 15 years ago, let's go back to, yeah, the early 2000s, like, when people were just starting to get into reptiles, and obviously there was very limited information about keeping a animal inside a minimum or a totally fine size gallon tank, you guys. Let's say Ariel here, my corn snake, was actually a ball python, a 3-4 foot male ball python. You know what? No, not a ball python. How about a Burmese python? Let's talk about a Burmese python instead. Some people back in the day would say, like, a 6-foot Burmese python at a year old would probably say, oh, they'll do fine in a 20-40 gallon enclosure. However, though, that might be true for the first few months of a baby Burmese python, you guys. But once they reach a year old, though, they're going to definitely need something much, much bigger than a 20-40 gallon tank, without a doubt. Because obviously, research back 20, 40, 30 years ago was so much different than how much knowledge there was. You know, we didn't have much of the internet like 20, 40, 30 years ago. Excuse me, why do we say 40? But anyways, like I was saying is that if I were to put Ariel in a 10-gallon enclosure where my girl Ellie lives, and she does pretty good in this enclosure. She's just about right at that size where she might need to get an upgrade here in the next few more months. But if I were to put my girl Ariel here, who's obviously about 3 feet long, in this 10-gallon enclosure, she'd be pretty cramped in there, without a doubt. Pretty cramped in there. And obviously, she would have very little room to move around in because of how big she is, comparing to Ellie here. She's only like 18 inches long, so she's still got some growth on her. But still, though, if I were to move Ariel into that 10-gallon tank here, she would almost have nowhere to go. She'd feel cramped in there and would not probably feel pleased about living in there. So, and obviously, without a doubt, she wouldn't even have any place to hide pretty much anywhere at all. Almost no hiding place. And with that being said, Burmese pythons too, back in the days, where people thought, they always thought about how they only get like, some people thought they only get like 8-9 foot long at top max size. But in reality though, there has been so much changed, you know, and we've obviously know that Burmese pythons get way bigger than 8 foot, typically average about 12-14 feet. But there have been some individuals that have been found about up to 20 feet long as well, and weighing about 200, almost 300 pounds. So, yeah, it's crazy how much time has changed. So, obviously, if you're keeping a snake inside a small enclosure like Ellie here, if she was in a 5-gallon enclosure, she would not like that at all. She would probably not be very pleased about it without a doubt. So, obviously, for now she is in a 10-gallon, but I do plan to upgrade her someday into a 15, maybe even a 20-gallon one of these days. So, obviously, it's just crazy how much it's changed. So, definitely do your research on the exact animal you're planning on getting and when it gets older and larger and on what size it needs for its enclosure. So, that's why these days people use the internet, you know? I mean, come on. I mean, we always use the internet now these days for almost everything, right? Speaking of enclosures, you guys, we also want to include racks and tub systems. I don't have anything against it, but as you can see, for an example, too, my boy Tyson here, my albino checker garter, who I mentioned just earlier in today's topic, you can see he is a little cramped in here, I'm not gonna lie, and he has very little bit where to go, and he's obviously, like, he's right now in the corner, so, and there isn't that much, like, detail here in his cage either. And listen, I know some people are probably thinking, why is there not that much enrichment in there, you know? And obviously I want to add more enrichment, you know. I do want to one day maybe get a slightly bigger rack system, but just right now, you guys, I just don't have the money for it, you know. I mean, obviously an animal's life is important, you guys, and sometimes we do have to take risks on spending quite a bit of money for our animals, right? Because obviously these animals are very, very important, you know. It's kind of like taking care of children, you know. You got to spend a lot of money to take care of them, you know, and keep them healthy and helping living, you know, all that kind of stuff. Same thing with your animals. So do I plan on getting a bigger rack system? Eventually I will. Hopefully maybe when I make enough money to get my own place, you know, and definitely for sure we'll definitely start expanding. So, but regardless though, it's obviously clear that some things have really changed here in the hobby without a doubt, and definitely snake cages, enclosures, and rack systems without a doubt has really changed for sure. So, but yeah, definitely for sure, I'm gonna obviously have to make some arrangements myself here too, ain't I right, people? And of course, we are gonna finally conclude it with UVB lighting here, guys. Now, you guys probably noticed too that a few of my snake cages here, like Ariel's and Van Halen's, they have a special light bulb actually made by Zuma. It's a daylight light bulb. Even though they may not produce that much UVB lighting, however, though, they still provide enough heat for them to actually just thrive. So, and of course, you guys know I only keep snakes here, so they don't really need too much UVB lighting, but it wouldn't hurt to actually give them some anyway, you know, because it can actually help them reduce the odds of having metabolic bone disease, and of course, actually have other different types of other kind of diseases for them as well. But if you guys are either keeping different kinds of animals, like especially if it's whether it's a special type of lizard or a turtle or a tortoise, they do some of that depending on the species requires definitely some UVB lighting. Especially turtles and tortoises. All turtles and tortoises need UVB lighting, you guys, because obviously without UVB lighting, you guys, believe it or not, turtles and tortoises will suffer some severe problems. Like, they'll have some deformity on their shells, and of course they will reduce their odds of living longer than normal. So, and to think about that, you know, going back 30, 40 years ago in the reptile hobby, there weren't that any UVB lighting light bulbs that existed at all. People just only had plain light bulbs. That's all they had back then. So, and some people started having problems with their turtles or tortoises. Their shells started to deform a lot. And of course, believe it or not, that is when turtles and tortoises have deformed shells, you guys, that's obviously a sign of metabolic bone disease right there. So, and that's a serious, serious, serious health problem right there. And there's very little you can do about it. So, anyway, I feel like that's pretty much all I got to conclude here for the vlog here. So, that's only one of the few things, though, that I just mentioned to you guys that has changed the reptile hobby. There's plenty more stuff out there that has changed the reptile hobby within the last couple of years. So, but regardless, I feel like that's pretty much all I have to say here. So, but anyway, let me know in the comments below if you guys have any other things that you realize that have changed the hobby. Alrighty people, that's gonna go ahead and conclude today's vlog here. So I hope you guys really learned what a few things about the reptile hobby has been really changed a lot in the last couple years. So if you guys are new to my channel, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button for me, and turn on that notification bell if you can do that for me, and also leave a comment down below and tell me on what your guys' thoughts are on the changes of what's been going on in the hobby for the last few years. I really would like to hear that, you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and just call it here for the day. I promise people, I'll see you on the next one.